Welcome to Dipsticks and Deals with Jimmy B and the Third Wheel on Real Talk 1160. Everything you need to know about cars, buying, financing, trading, maintenance, repairs, auto body, and more. Join the program by calling 513-579-1160. Now, here are your hosts, Jimmy B and the Third Wheel on Real Talk 1160.
Good morning, and you are along for the ride with Jimmy B and the Third Wheel on Dipsticks and Deals on Real Talk 1160. The show where we talk about anything and everything automotive. We appreciate you joining us this morning. You will be smarter for having listened. Remember, you can hear us anywhere in the free world on the TuneIn Radio app, Radio Loyalty app, or you can live stream at dipsticksanddeals.com or realtalk1160.com. Third Wheel.
Good morning, Jimmy B.
What's up?
Not much, but hey, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or our WordPress blog. And for information about the sponsors in the show, go to dipsticksanddeals.com.
What do they do when they get there?
They can hit the advertise button.
Cool. Advertise on D&D tab will get you where you need to be to advertise with us. If you have a question or would like to get involved in Dipsticks and Deals, call 513-579-1160. Lines are open. You can send us a Facebook message or an email at ask@dipsticksanddeals.com. Also, information for the American engine.
Not just because you drive cars, but because you drive America.
You know what's going on the 28th of the month? We're going to be at the Cincy Custom Street Machine Show out at Easy Street Speed and Customs in Milford.
That's going to be sweet. Really
now,
sweet.
That's a Saturday show, and we're not going to be doing a broadcast, but you need to come out because this is a big show. It's going to be a really cool car show. It's the 10th annual, but we're going to be out there to help Easy Street and Cincy Custom Street Machines promote themselves and promote our show as well. So come out and see us. We're going to have some stuff we're giving away, some drawings. It's going to be a great time. We're going to be airing the show in video form again, and we did this once before, but we had some technical issues, but we believe we have those resolved to a point that we can at least get them on our website around the 29th of July, and then we're going to actually start airing these on Time Warner Cable as well, hopefully around August 1st, which I think will be pretty cool.
Well, you know, in Easy Street, when we're there, I'm actually going to do some interviews, and we'll post those.
Well, we're going to have interviews and some video stuff.
So they'll be able to hear and see what's going on.
Yeah. So even though we don't do the remote show from there, you need to check out our website. We're going to have a lot of good stuff. And then maybe the week after, we'll play some of that stuff, give everybody an idea. We want to mention our charities, of course, the charities and events that we're involved in here at D&D. We support, as a charity, Operation Troop Aid. We talk about them every week. That's a charity that collects money and goods for troops based on a specific list of things that the guys out in the field want or need. So this isn't the guys returning, because we want to support them too, obviously, but these are guys that are out in the middle of nowhere. The staff sergeants on the ground pick the guys, or the troops, I should say troops, because there's women too, that are furthest from supplies. And then they deliver these to them via mail call, probably once a month, once every couple of months. It's hard to get it to them, but they really, really appreciate it, and we support that.
They really appreciate it because, you know, me being a veteran and being over there, it is a treat to get something. And,
what kind of stuff was important to you out there from the States?
You know, to be honest with you, anything.
I know beef jerky and stuff like that.
Anything that will last, anything that's packaged well.
Right.
But even letters, you know, it could be from anybody.
Right.
It could be a school kids or whatever.
That's cool. Well, that's what Troop Aid does. You can check them out at operationtroopaid.org for more information. And being we're talking about troops and stuff.
That's cool, man. This is cool.
Yeah, we found that we do actually have some listeners in Afghanistan. They're listening via the podcast on our website, and they're returning and listening to every show every week. And we're putting 1 and 2 together and making 3. And we think that there are probably some troops out there gathered around in like a rec tent. They found us or were, told to check it out. And that's one entry that's returning from Afghanistan to listen to the show, which is cool. But like you said, Third Wheel, there's probably 10, 15 guys huddled around listening, potentially.
Oh, yeah. If you're in a tent city or if you're somewhere in a safe zone, then you probably got some type of, room with some TVs or radios and apps or whatever, and they can sit around.
So that's really cool, and we want to let them know, we know they are listening, that we do support them wholly here in the United States for sure. The guys from the pit crew from Dipsticks and Deals, we're behind you 100%. We appreciate what you're doing. Want to mention our title sponsors, too. These are the people that make this show possible, and there's some really, really good hometown businesses that you need to check out, one of which is
Robke Automotive.
That's right.
Give them a call, 859-432-3733.
Yeah, and they got a lot of good stuff going on down there. They got, I know, one of the lowest, easy for me to say, lowest labor rates for service work and collision work. They're ASE certified. Been in business since 1912 as a dealership. So 859-431-3733.
I thought that was a typo.
That's a typo. It's funny. I corrected it on mine. I just didn't correct it on yours.
You know, any publicity is good publicity.
Well, then let's let you do the next, which is Huseman Schmidt Insurance.
Huseman Schmidt Insurance, 513-521-8590. Anything from personal, business, home, health, auto, etc. Any insurance needs, give them a call. Ask for AJ or ask for Rob.
Good deal. And our spotlight sponsor of the week is going to be Fear Buick GMC up in Hamilton.
Yeah, Fear Buick. They've been around for a long, long time. And as for Ray Tenley, actually they've been around since 1932. They're a Buick GMC dealer, and they're moving into a new 26,000 square foot location between Menards and Kohl's near Bridgewater Falls. And that's pretty much going to cover Liberty Township, Fairfield. It's moving sort of, I guess it would be east,
right,
from their current location there on Dixie Highway.
That's cool. So listeners from the north end of our area, Buick GMC.
South End,
go to Robke Automotive for sales, service, and collision work. Check those two folks out. We are going to get to a bunch of stuff here today. In fact, I want to quickly get to our gas, cash, or crash contest. It's a trivia question. What year and by what manufacturer was OBD, which is onboard diagnostics, OBD, first introduced in a production vehicle? So jump on our Facebook page or call in at 513-579-1160. The gas, cash, or crash contest, you could win $25 in gas, $25 in cash, or you can crash the show and be with us here live on air. What do you think about that?
That's, I don't know, pretty scary.
That's pretty cool. Listen, we've got a couple of guests here, too, that I want to introduce real quick before break. We've got a fella here that we're hoping is going to be able to give us some input into the show on at least a monthly basis.
That'd be me.
Kenny Coltrane.
How you doing, Jimmy B?
Kenny Coltrane in Coltrane's Corner. This is a guy that knows a lot about cars, but potentially for all the wrong reasons.
That would be me.
And you've had experience with automobiles on a lot of different levels, and I know you had a lot of hot cars in the day.
I sure have.
What kind?
Volkswagens, Pintos, a Vega.
A Vega?
Yes.
Very nice.
You're a chick magnet, aren't you?
You know it. You know it. You know it.
Good deal. I tell you, we'll get into more, and we'll talk a little bit more with Kenny Coltrane from Casey County when we come back from the break. I've got another person here, too, that I'd like to say hello to, in just to view and see what this is all about in the illustrious studios at Real Talk 1160. My dad. Bob, how you doing?
I'm doing great, boy.
Man, you got a loud voice on the radio.
Well, it's just I got to take deep breaths. I'm over 70.
Holy cow. Well, we'll talk more about that and more to you when we come back. Got a lot of good information coming up. This is Dipsticks and Deals on Real Talk 1160.
Weather when you need it. Your Real Talk 1160 forecast every 15 minutes.
Here's the forecast of Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, and the Tri-State. Well, this morning we'll have showers and thunderstorms, and rain is likely. We could have a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Our high 83. The chance of showers and thunderstorms continues into the evening. Overnight, it'll be mostly cloudy, a low 68. Monday should be partly sunny and hot with a high of 92. There's a chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday with a high of 92. From the Real Talk 1160 Weatherbug Forecast Center, this is Rod Tanner.
Hi folks, Debbie Robke with Robke Automotive. I'm here to tell you about Northern Kentucky's best full-service used car store. Shop Robke for sales, service, parts, collision repair, and rental car. Robke Automotive, where quality is superior, our prices can't be beat, our service is guaranteed, and our parts come with a national warranty. Come visit Robke and see why our customers are always smiling. Robke Automotive, I-275 at Exit 80 in Northern Kentucky, on the web at GoRobke.com, or check us out on Facebook for fantastic deals of the week.
We're driven to treat you right. The United States is the birthplace of cool. If the world was a high school, America would be making out in the study hall with Sweden, picking on India, and smoking in the UN restroom with France.
Dennis Miller, weeknights at 10 on Real Talk 1160.
Enjoy the 100 greatest books of all time and never read a word. Listen to them instead on the Library of Classics MP3 player. Enjoy Moby Dick, Gulliver's Travels, Tom Sawyer, Little Women, and 96 more, all preloaded on the compact player. Listen while driving, gardening, working out, or relaxing in your favorite chair. It's the perfect companion for road trips or on a plane. For a limited time, you'll receive the easy-to-use MP3 player, headphones, belt clip, car adapter, and 100 classic audio books. You could easily spend over $1,000 to buy the entire collection. You get everything for just $99 plus shipping. That's less than $1 a book. Order now and you'll also get 50 great classical music performances preloaded on the player. You're fully protected by our lifetime guarantee. If you are ever dissatisfied, get a complete refund, no questions asked. Call toll-free right now and order your Library of Classics.
1-800-435-6041. 1-800-435-6041. That's 1-800-435-6041.
Between the economy and the price of gas, how about a way to save some money for a change? Lower your insurance premium with help from Huseman Schmidt Insurance. They understand more than most because they've been local, family-owned, and part of your community since 1976. Huseman Schmidt's expertise and common sense approach have helped their clients protect their assets and save money. For all your business and personal insurance needs, call Huseman Schmidt at 513-521-8590 and ask for Rob or AJ, or visit HusemanSchmidt.com. Huseman Schmidt cares. Crank it up.
Herman can't endorse Newt like it matters now. Oh, let it go, Herman.
To 11.
After the lead of Romney widens to 15. Jump on board right there.
The Bulldog. Every morning at 7 on Real Talk 1160. This is the Bulldog.
How much is it going to take for you weak, compliant sheep that follows these fools wherever they lead you? See, because I've had enough. You weak person, haven't had enough. How much is it going to take before you say enough is enough?
The Bulldog. Eric Dieters. Mornings 7 to 9. Real Talk 1160.
You want speed? You want power? You want style? You want something that turns heads? Then you want Easy Street Speed and Customs in Milford. Easy Street offers everything from minor repairs to full restoration, custom builds, late model mod, performance parts, and an on-site dyno for real performance tuning. Hot rods and cool rides at Easy Street Speed and Custom, 701 Chamber Drive in Milford, 513-831-7550. That's 513-831-7550.
Did you know Fear Buick GMC in Hamilton has been family owned and operated and serving the tri-state since 1932? Isn't that the kind of dealership you want to buy your next car from? And because of that success, Fear Buick GMC announces their upcoming move later this year to their new 26,000 square foot location between Menards and Kohl's near Bridgewater Falls. Come see Ray Tenley, Fear's general manager for the past 25 years, and tell him Dipsticks and Deals sent you. Call 513-863-8111 or visit FearMotors.com. That's FIEHRER Motors.com. Prepare to be entertained. Real Talk 1160.
Welcome back to Dipsticks and Deals on Real Talk 1160. I'm Jimmy B here with Third Wheel. We've also got a couple of guests in studio. Kenny Coltrane.
That's amazing.
Kenny Coltrane is a self-proclaimed automotive expert.
Why, sure, son. That's right.
And what makes you an expert?
Well, I've been pulled over in cars. I've exploded some cars. I've caught other people's cars on fire. You know, I done a little bit of everything, Jimmy B.
Kenny Coltrane, the self-proclaimed, and we have to make sure that's out there as a disclaimer, expert. And we're going to talk some more to Kenny a little bit. I got my dad here, too, is sitting in. Bob Loud Voice.
Yeah, I have to tone it down. You can just call me Pappy, Grandpappy, Nappy Pappy.
You could.
I sleep a lot.
You might get some calls. You got a heck of a radio voice.
Oh, thank you very much.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we've got a really big show coming up. I want to get right to it so that we make sure we have enough time, including a story of love lost or love never lost, depending on how you want to look at it. But Chuck and Betty's 48 Chev convertible. Really, really cool hot rod story, car story, love story. We'll get into that in just a few. How to deal with a service shop is coming up in the second hour as well. But right now, it is time to take a look at automotive news. Automotive news brought to you by Scorpion Spray and Bed Liners. Call 859-431-3733 for more information on a premier spray-in truck bed liner. You know, for the fourth straight year, Toyota Camry claims the most American-made vehicle, edging out the Ford F-150 and the other big three automakers. The Camry actually has the most U.S.-sourced parts, the most sales, and the most production in the United States.
It's amazing.
It's kind of sad, isn't it?
I said amazing because I didn't hear a word you said. So.
Okay. The only Chrysler that was in the top 10 was the Jeep Liberty, but Chrysler's owned by Fiat. Kind of takes them out. It's like, you know, they're considered a foreign manufacturer like Toyota is, and they're in the top 10, a couple of GMs and a couple of Fords. But Camry, once again, the most American-made vehicle. And a lot of that has to do with sales, but that's still just as bad. They're selling more than anybody else, too, as far as that car goes. So, interesting. Irvin Gordon of Bayshore, New York. You know, he has nearly 3 million miles on his 1966 Volvo P1800S.
Same engine?
Well, I'll get to that.
All right.
It is. But he sets and holds the world record for the most miles on a car. But just like what you said, it's really not that big a feat because the engine and transmission have both been rebuilt a few times. Car's been body worked and painted a couple of times. Parts are still available. And, you know, it's just like a semi-tractor. They go 500,000 miles, 300 or 3 to 500 million miles, 3 to 5 million miles. How about that?
Sounds good.
But they rebuild those trucks all the time. And if you take any vehicle and restore it and just keep rebuilding the engine transmission, how many miles could you really get out of one? As many as you wanted, I guess.
Millions.
Millions, apparently. So there's a world record out there that seems to me easily. It's just a matter of time, really. How much time do you have to do something like that?
I think that's pretty, I don't know. The cost of doing that to your car over time, really.
Yeah, but look at the fame. You're in a book of world records, man.
That's all right, fine.
That's awesome.
In-car navigation's predicted to quadruple by the year 2019, adding 13 million units per vehicle. And this is despite tougher distracted driving regulations. I myself have had the same navigation system since I started driving back in the 80s. It's called Rand McNally.
Yeah.
It's a map.
That's what you use.
Do you have navigation in your car?
No, I actually have it on my iPhone.
Well, there you go. See, that's another aspect of
nice.
Distracted driving that is not good. GM announces Love It or Return It, a program for the 2012 and 13 models. If you buy one of their cars and decide you don't like it, you can return it between 30 and 60 days. So long as it has less than 4,000 miles on it and hasn't been damaged. You can just turn it back in and go buy something else.
That's sort of ridiculous, especially on the sales side.
Well, you would think, but I guess they're trying to tout their quality and, you know.
I'm just saying
we're guaranteeing you're going to love this car and it's built well and blah, blah, blah.
And I'm not saying it's a bad idea on that side. I'm just saying, like, as far as the salesman goes, I sell the car. I'm not
and it
gonna
comes
get paid.
back. Who's going to get? Yeah,
it's
you're
like
going to get.
That's like I got to return the money.
Now, is that limited to one time a year? Or can I, like, keep doing that?
That's right. You get your car, turn it back, get another
Kenny
one,
Coltrane. See, that's why you're here, to interject things that a lot of listeners probably thought the same thing. And I would say the answer is probably no. I would say there's limitations. You'd have to call your local dealer to find out what they are. But you can actually waive that option and get a $500 rebate on the purchase price of the car, too. So it's probably good all the way around. But like Kenny Coltrane said, if you can do that over and over again, you could drive a new car every 60 days and never have a car payment.
I'll go ahead and try it and let you boys know how it went.
The U.S. Army has announced that it would no longer be a sponsor in NASCAR racing, citing that the audience is not the correct age group to market the armed forces to. So they're pulling out the Army car. They're pulling out a NASCAR.
That doesn't really make any sense to me at all.
Well, they're going to continue sponsoring the NHRA drag racing team of Tony Schumacher. But here's the thing for me. You know who pays for that? You know who pays for that $10 million sponsorship?
Us.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
Taxpayer dollars. So that's kind of like our race. Shouldn't we be involved in that decision-making process?
Have you been in any other decisions that the government has made?
No.
Never.
No. No, they don't.
Yeah, was it you that decided to go to Afghanistan or Iraq?
Yeah. They don't ask me much, my opinion. Moving on to automotive history.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about automotive history.
What do you got, brother?
July 10th, 1962, U.S. Patent Office issues a patent to Swedish engineer Nils Bolin. I wonder how they pronounce it. For his three-point seatbelt design for automobiles. Now, I guess this is the design that crosses over and hits you in the chin, cut your neck. The design is still the primary safety belt design used by all manufacturers today, and it resulted in about 50% less crash fatalities. I believe that.
Yeah.
Bolin at the time was an engineer for
Volvo, the safety kings. I want to make sure I'm looking at the same thing that Third Wheel's looking at, and I want to make sure you're going to be able to pronounce the next history item.
July 11th, 1899, Fabbrico Italiano Automobile Torino, which is short for Fiat.
I'm impressed.
Signed a charter that established them as an official auto manufacturer.
Fiat. You know, what's funny is we were doing those acronyms.
What does Fiat stand for?
And nobody knew what Fiat stood for. I didn't know. So now we know.
July 12th, well, the things you said.
Those made more sense.
Are a lot funnier.
Yes.
July 12th, 1946. The Spicer Manufacturer Company emerged from bankruptcy as D-A-N-A?
Dana.
Dana, right?
Dana.
Doesn't mean anything, or does it? What does D-A-N-A mean?
Dana.
Dana.
It's a guy's last name.
Is it a guy's last name? All
yeah.
right. Let me read more then, huh?
Please continue.
Holds Corporation, named after Charles Dana.
That's right.
Who joined the company in 1914 as president and treasurer. The company now employs over 35,000 people and manufactures axles and drivetrain components for many vehicle manufacturers such as
Jeep.
Dana. Jeep. July 13, 1978, Chairman Henry Ford II fires Lee Iacocca as president of Ford Motor Company after years of tension between the two of them. Iacocca being inspiration and sales drive behind the Ford Mustang and later being hired by Chrysler to save the bankrupt automaker by securing a federal bailout of $1.5 billion in 1980.
Lee Iacocca. See, there was a bailout already.
Yeah, it was back in 1980.
We're getting close to a break. What else you got, brother?
Last one, July 13th, 1995. Chrysler opens the first U.S. car dealership in Hanoi, Vietnam in September of the same year. Begins building a production facility to produce the Dodge Dakota there.
We're up against a break. Remember to check out Dipsticks and Deals on the web. Become a fan of our Facebook page. You can win some great prizes from D&D and from our sponsors. Remember also, I want to mention the 28th of July. Again, we're going to be out at Easy Street Speed and Customs for the Cincy Custom Street Machines car show, which is going to be really, really cool car show. Lots of cars. Plus, what's neat is they're going to open up Easy Street, and you'll be able to go inside and get somewhat of a tour and see the facilities. They got a dyno there. You're going to see some of the projects that they're working on and some of the cool stuff that they can do and kind of talk and get to know these guys out at Easy Street. So come out and see us on July 28th. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to talk about Chuck and Betty's 48 convertible and a lot of other stuff on Dipsticks and Deals. You're listening to Jimmy B and the Third Wheel on Real Talk 1160.
I'm nationwide.
Weather when you need it. Your Real Talk 1160 forecast every 15 minutes.
Here's the forecast of Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, and the Tri-State. Well, this morning we'll have showers and thunderstorms, and rain is likely. We could have a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Our high 83. The chance of showers and thunderstorms continues into the evening. Overnight, it'll be mostly cloudy, low 68. Monday should be partly sunny and hot with a high of 92. There's a chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday with a high of 92. From the Real Talk 1160 WeatherBug Forecast Center, this is Rod Tanner.
This is Steve Jarnicki, voice of Florence Freedom Baseball. Saturday night, it was the Gateway Grizzlies edging the Freedom 4-3 in 10 innings. The Freedom dropped 2 of 3 to Gateway, and after an off day Sunday, the Freedom begin a 3-game set at first place Traverse City Monday night. Join me starting at 6:50 for Traverse City and the Freedom on Real Talk 1160.
Laura Ingram?
Yeah, ding, 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 ding.
We've got an app for that.
Oh, fantastic.
Download TuneIn Radio for your Android, iPhone, or BlackBerry. And listen to Real Talk 1160 anywhere, anytime.
Your healthy radio addiction.
Attention all Hyundai owners. Congratulations, because your used Hyundai may be worth more than you think.
John, why is that?
Well, here at Columbia Hyundai, because of high trade values, it's possible to trade in your used Hyundai and keep your present payment or even lower it for a comparable new Hyundai.
Payment-wise, how low can you go?
Right now, get a new 2012 Hyundai Accent for $149 a month, a new 2012 Elantra for $169 a month, or a new 2012 Sonata for $199 a month. This is a 36-month lease. Other than tax and title, there's only $19.99 due at signing. All these cars get over 40 EPA miles per gallon on the highway.
So this is part of the Hyundai Fuel Efficiency Drive sales event during July?
Yes, plus all new Hyundais come with America's Best Warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and the Hyundai Assurance.
That's a better warranty than a Lexus.
And we can get you finance approval in 30 minutes or less. And remember, we need good trade-ins, so we'll give you top dollar for yours.
Only at Columbia Hyundai on Montgomery Road at I-275.
Call 489-2000 or see our video at ColumbiaHyundai.com.
It's hiding under the sink. It's hiding under the couch. It's in the basement. It can even be in your bed.
What is that?
It's bugs. The mild winter we had was good for us and great for pests. But don't fret. Call Harvey's Pest Control and ask for Tom Harvey. He'll find it and he'll kill it. Harvey's Pest Control, 513-300-2880. That's 513-300-2880.
Do you dance badly or hug in public? That's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love to put up with you. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit adoptuskids.org for more information. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
I'm Dr. Lawrence Kurtzman. There's nothing more important at Kurtzman Plastic Surgery than providing not only the finest environment and experience, but most importantly, the absolute best results anywhere.
I lost over 100 pounds and I turned to Dr. Kurtzman to surgically remove all my excess skin. From the office to the service and especially the results, I was blown away. Best decision I ever made.
My recovery was way quicker and easier than I ever imagined. So many people warned me how rough tummy tuck recovery could be. Not with Dr. Kurtzman. My friends were amazed I was out to dinner only 2 days after my surgery. The surgeon you choose does make a difference.
Don't believe all the sales pitches and hype. Go to a board-certified plastic surgeon. It does make a difference. For a complimentary, informative, and pressure-free consultation, call Kurtzman Plastic Surgery, 513-891-4440, 513-891-4440, or Google Kurtzman with a K Plastic Surgery. Kurtzman Plastic Surgery. Never settle.
Hi folks, Debbie. Robke with Robke Automotive. I'm here to tell you about Northern Kentucky's best full-service used car store. Shop Robke for sales, service, parts, collision repair, and rental car. Robke Automotive, where quality is superior. Our prices can't be beat, our service is guaranteed, and our parts come with a national warranty. Come visit Robke and see why our customers are always smiling. Robke Automotive, I-275 at Exit 80 in Northern Kentucky, on the web at GoRobke.com, or check us out on Facebook for fantastic deals of the week.
We're driven to treat you right.
Laura Ingram, weekdays 9 to noon. Real Talk 1160.
You are cruising along with Jimmy B and the third wheel. Dipsticks and deals on Real Talk 1160.
Hey, give us a call at 513-579-1160 if you'd like to join.
Please do. I've got a story that I'm going to tell.
Yeah, what is this love never lost story?
This is a true story, too, by the way.
Am I going to cry?
You're probably going to cry.
All right, hold on. Let me get some tissues.
I know I will.
This is a true story about a local couple, actually. So if I'm going to get right into this, only because I've never timed the story, so I don't know if it's going to lead to break or not. So I'll try to make it interesting. Come back with me to the late 1950s where Chuck and Betty started dating. The first date, well, Chuck picked up Betty in his freshly washed 1948 Chevy Fleetmaster convertible, the car that he labored countless hours polishing, fixing up. The car that would eventually take them on another date and another, to dinner and a movie, a sock hop, the drive-in, and, of course, Lookout Point. The two were inseparable. Always seen around northern Kentucky in the 48, Chuck and Betty were an item. Over a couple of years, Betty hinted around about marriage. You know, she didn't push it. Chuck knew that she wanted to be married, and he knew that she'd be the one that he would marry. So one evening, Chuck said to Betty, "Let's go for a drive." They hopped in the convertible, and off they went. After a short while, Chuck pulled off a Narrows Road, which is down here in northern Kentucky. Pulled a ring out of his chest pocket and held it up the ring to the moonlight, looked at Betty, and he said, "Betty, you still want this thing?" Of course, she obliged, and the two began planning that special day. And in fact, June 6th of 1959, the 48 Fleetmaster convertible would carry the just-married couple away from the church as Mr. and Mrs. Charles Schneider. And on their honeymoon to Gatlinburg, further south, they went to Daytona, Florida. Now, Chuck, he was in graduate school at Loyola up in University up in Chicago. And the couple decided to move up there so that Chuck could finish school, so that they could start their lives together. And during this time, they would make several trips back and forth to northern Kentucky from Chicago to visit family and friends. They even hit a few of the old local hangouts and places they used to cruise the 48 to when they were dating. They had planned a quick weekend trip to see some friends and loaded up the 48 and headed south. Not too far into the trip, the old 48 decided it was time to retire. She blew her engine, coasted off to the shoulder of the highway. Chuck knew the engine was done. It was just too far gone to fix. So what he did was he had it towed back to Chicago with the intention of getting a new engine, putting her back on the road because he loved the car so much. Chuck and Betty bought a cheap car just to get them by until Chuck could get the Fleetmaster running again. Well, that cool 48 sat behind the couple's trailer up in Chicago as they went about their daily lives, working, going to school, trying to make ends meet, and hopefully have a little bit left over for the 48. Or just enough money for a date night now and then. Weeks turned into months, and months turned to a year. The 48 sat in the backyard. Windows got broken out by neighborhood kids. Rust started forming under the floor. The convertible top didn't fare very well, and the elements took their piece of Chuck's 48. Vandals continued to deface the car, and rust began to invade the body. Chuck knew the 48 would never see the road again. One Sunday morning, Betty and Chuck sat in their kitchen. They were at the table discussing their finances and their future. Chuck told Betty that they needed to get whatever value they could out of the old 48 before it wasn't worth anything to anybody. In the fall of 1961, they had the 48 towed out to the scrapyard from behind the house. Betty stood at the kitchen window, and she cried as the car went by. She, too, loved that old 48, but that wasn't the reason she was crying. She was crying because she knew how much that car meant to Chuck. Fast forward about 50 years. Betty and Chuck are sitting at their kitchen table once again. They're reminiscing about the old days, old friends. The days when they were young. Betty asked Chuck, "Hey, Chuck, if there was something from the past that you could have back just for one day, what would it be?" Chuck took a deep breath. He leaned back in his chair and paused. He looked over at Betty and he said, "Well, there's actually two things, not just one." Chuck said, "First, I'd like to have one more day with my mother. And second, I'd like to have one more day driving my 48. Betty would have given Chuck the moon if he would have asked for it, but she knew she couldn't do anything about his mother who had passed away. She began to think about his second wish, and she knew that no matter what it took, she had to make that wish come true. Betty began contacting her and Chuck's lifelong friends, the neighbors for many years on Easy Street in Chicago, where Chuck and Betty lived in the trailer park. You see their friends, the Odoms. They were into old cars and restorations and hot rods, and so much so they named their hot rod shop in Milford, Ohio, Easy Street Speed and Customs. Tim, one of the owners of the rod shop, was best friends with Chuck and Betty's son, David. Together, the two families began to put a plan in place. Locating a 48 Fleetmaster convertible to restore was going to be the first hurdle, and a big one. You see, Chevrolet only produced 20,000 of these Fleetmaster convertibles in 1948, and finding one that someone didn't want an arm and a leg for was going to be tough. After an exhausting search, a car was found in Death Valley out west. The car wasn't complete, had no drivetrain, it was missing pretty much everything. The one thing that the 48 had going for it is that the roof structure for the convertible top was all there. The decision was made and the car was bought from just a few pictures that they had saw, and it was on its way to Easy Street. Now, the entire shop at Easy Street got involved. It was a daunting task locating parts and retrofitting modern parts, the accessory, everything they had to do to this car. The frame was modified to accept a Z06 drivetrain out of a Corvette. The suspension was modified and custom built to ride like a new car because, you see, they didn't want to just restore an old classic. They wanted Chuck and Betty to be able to drive the car anywhere and as often as they wanted without worry. Not to mention that Easy Street would be putting a reputation on the build, and it had to be done right. Now, all this while they were building the car, no one other than the Easy Street crew, maybe a few family members, and of course Betty, knew about the car. For nearly a year, they were able to keep the secret from Chuck. He was none the wiser. The 48 was found in Death Valley and was beginning to show signs of life. Long, tenuous hours were being spent putting the car together and making sure every aspect of the build was exact. After all, this wasn't just an old 48 Fleetmaster. This was Chuck's lost love. The entire build from planning to paint was captured on video, a family heirloom that was built, and Betty wanted to be sure that Chuck knew what went into the car, especially if for some reason that she herself would not be around to see the unveiling. January 27th, 2012. The Fleetmaster takes breaths of cold winter air as she rumbles out of the Easy Street shop. From a forgotten relic in the midst of the desert to the centerpiece of a Midwest showroom. This was a masterpiece. It was a work of art. It was a 48 Chevy Fleetmaster convertible. Well, Chuck was at home when he got a call to come up to the shop and see some of the cars that were being worked on at Easy Street. Wasn't out of character since Chuck was a car guy and the Odoms were good friends. Chuck's son and grandson drove to Chuck and Betty's house in Union, Kentucky, where they picked him up. And on the drive to Milford, they made sure to talk about just about every other kind of thing they could think of to keep Chuck from talking about cars, and specifically that 48 Chev. Chuck didn't ask any questions. Well, while Chuck was being driven to the shop, the rest of the family and some close friends were gathering. They hid in hallways and back offices. They remained silent as Chuck rolled in and was escorted into the back shop. Chuck walked through the shop, noticed the 48 Fleetmaster sedan sitting there that belonged to another customer. He immediately began to talk about the convertible and fond memories he had with the car. As Chuck was reminiscing, a phone rang, a cue that the family was ready up front. They led Chuck up to the showroom to see the finished cars, and as Chuck walked slowly at each one, he looked at the cars that were on display, and his grandson said, "Hey, Grandpa, come look at this one over here. It's the best one." Chuck made his way around the Camaro, then the 55 Nomad, and there was Betty, sitting in the passenger seat, smiling, the driver door wide open, the 48 convertible's top down. Chuck stopped suddenly. He didn't make a sound, his expression unchanged. Chuck knew what he was looking at, but words and emotion escaped him. He stood motionless until Betty kneeled on the seat and said, "Hey, Chuck, you still want this thing?" Chuck grinned just a bit. Still without utterance, he walked around the car once, twice, looking at every detail, every curve. He then slid into the driver's seat and closed the door. He looked up as if to be looking at the moon, as he did the night that he asked Betty to marry him. And as a single tear ran down his face, he leaned over and kissed his gal on the cheek and whispered, "Let's go for a drive." Is that not the coolest car story you ever heard?
Mr. Coltrane, can I borrow your handkerchief?
I don't know what you're talking about. You know what's cool about that is it's local.
It's local. It's a true story.
And it's off our sponsor.
I'm not crying.
Next week or so, we're going to try to get Chuck and Betty to call in and talk a little bit more about that 48 Fleetmaster convertible. What a great story.
Awesome.
You're listening to Dipsticks and Deals. We'll be right back on Real Talk 1160.
Come on, baby. Get in the road. Come on now. In the middle of the road, yeah.
Weather when you need it. Your Real Talk 1160 forecast every 15 minutes.
Here's the forecast in Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, and the Tri-State. Well, this morning we'll have showers and thunderstorms, and rain is likely. We could have a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Our high 83. The chance of showers and thunderstorms continues into the evening. Overnight, it'll be mostly cloudy, low 68. Monday should be partly sunny and hot with a high of 82. There's a chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday with a high of 92. From the Real Talk 1160 Weather Bug Forecast Center, this is Rod Tanner.
It's cleaning time. Windows, gutters, decks, you know everything you hate. Then why do it? Call Precision General Contracting. Frank Drew and his crew, they do it all. Affordable pricing and high quality work. Pressure washing, window and roof replacement. Precision is the one number for all your home projects. For a free estimate anywhere in Greater Cincinnati area, call 812-537-5932. That's 812-537-5932. Precision General Contracting.
We know you should be working, but seeing as you're on Facebook already, why not flip over to the 1160 page and tell us what you think? Then go to 1160.com and listen while you're online. We're worldwide. Real Talk 1160.
How's the expansion plans going for your business?
Oh, I'm holding off until the economy improves.
Really? Are your competitors on hold for the next few years?
Well,
I'm not waiting. I called General Steel Corporation. Their steel buildings have been used for businesses, churches, and schools around the world. They showed me how to save real money on a building designed for my needs and to my specifications. I can actually operate more efficiently in a building they helped me design. While my competitors are sitting on the sidelines waiting for economic change, I'm going to make my own change and take market share. When this economy turns around, I'll be in the lead. Come on, you didn't start your business by waiting for someone to tell you when the time is right. Stop sitting on your hands and pick up the phone. And ask about these rebates that can save you up to $20,000.
Call 800-215-2418, 800-215-2418. That's 800-215-2418.
Hi, folks. Debbie Robke with Robke Automotive. I'm here to tell you about Northern Kentucky's best full-service used car store. Shop Robke for sales, service, parts, collision repair, and rental car. Robke Automotive, where quality is superior. Our prices can't be beat, our service is guaranteed, and our parts come with a national warranty. Come visit Robke and see why our customers are always smiling. Robke Automotive, I-275 at Exit 80 in Northern Kentucky, on the web at GoRobke.com, or check us out on Facebook for fantastic deals of the week.
We're driven to treat you right.
Savage. How could you not join the Savage Nation? How could you not say to yourself that finally you understand me? How can you not get down on your hands and knees and say to yourself, by God, this man is the only voice in this country that's saying it the way it is?
Michael Savage, weekdays at noon on Real Talk 1160.
Hey, it's the Wild Man from Real Sports 1160 here with my friend Rob Bullock from Bullock Roofing.
Hey, Wild Man.
Rob, I hear you guys are the roofing experts.
That's right, Wild Man. If it has to do with the roof, we can handle it. Roof contracting and replacement, shingles, gutters, chimney repair, skylights. We even offer replacement windows.
Now, what sets Bullock Roofing apart from the other guys?
Wild Man, we are the roofing experts. We do it once, we do it right, and our pride shows in our work. Our customers mean the world to us, and their satisfaction speaks volumes. We're based on old-fashioned value and fair prices.
And word of mouth today is everything.
That's right. Our popularity has grown thanks to our customers telling their family and friends about our quality work.
Take it from Rob Bullock with Bullock Roofing. If you need help with your roof, gutters, chimney, even replacement windows, get the treatment you deserve from the experts at Bullock Roofing.
We service the entire greater Cincinnati area. Find us on the web at bullockroofing.com. That's bullockroofing.com. Call us for a free estimate today at 513-771-2096.
Hit us up on Facebook. Search Real Talk 1160.
Welcome back to Dipsticks and Deals on Real Talk 1160. You're cruising with Jimmy B in the third wheel.
That was a very nice story, Jim, and I think
it's a true story.
And
it's
that's
about
cool.
two local folks.
Now, will we see these folks at the Easy Street Customs?
I'm gonna check because I would imagine that yes, they will be out there at the show
With the car, I hope.
With the car, I'll confirm that. In fact, I'm gonna have somebody from Easy Street call in next week to promote the show, and we'll find out for sure.
That would be cool. I mean, that would be really cool
to come out and see that car based on that story and meet Chuck and Betty. Hopefully they can be there, and we'll try to get them to call in at some point.
That's the 28th.
The 28th of July out at Easy Street, Milford on Chamber Drive, 701 Chamber Drive. When I heard the story, I thought, wow, that is just really, really cool. And they've been married and stayed together that long. And the love Chuck had for that car and for Betty to be able to bring that car back into his life that way. Wasn't the same car, obviously, But after Easy Street was done with it, was a lot more than just a regular 48 Fleetmaster.
Yeah, that's really cool. Really cool.
That is a neat story. We're actually going to take this segment and do a free-for-all since we got so many folks here in studio. And we're just going to talk about a mix-mash bunch of car stuff.
Well, I'd like to say something to Kenny. We were talking off air, and he was telling me about his 1972 Chevrolet Vega GT hatchback coupe.
Oh, it was good.
What kind of motor did that thing have in it? Wasn't that a four-cylinder?
I think it was didn't it have a 2.3 and a 2.0 that it offered in that car?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
And did you consider that a muscle car?
Well, sure, son. Well, sure. Well, you can go fast. You can go fast.
Was it a wagon or a regular?
It was.
No, it was a hatchback, he said.
Oh, it was a wagon. It was primer.
Oh, it had primer.
Well, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. 97 cents a can.
How'd you qualify this guy again? What did you say he was?
Well, Kenny Coltrane's had a lot of car experience. Now, it's not necessarily professional car experience. It's not really maybe useful information, but it is, because
it is.
If you're thinking about doing something, you can contact us and Kenny Coltrane, and he'll
I've
let
done
you
it.
know the results.
Absolutely.
You look like you may have been burned on your forehead a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. You know those, the floors that they used to put in the Volkswagen Bugs? The ones that if you drop your cigarette would catch on fire real easy?
Yeah, that little thatch.
I burned every Volkswagen Bug I ever owned. To the ground. True story.
Speaking of fires, I picked this story up a minute ago. Did you hear about that lady who was fleeing the Colorado forest fires, wildfires out there, and crashed her car?
I did not hear that story.
And caught the state of Idaho on fire?
They caught the state on fire.
True story. She lives real close to the wildfires in Colorado, told to leave. She packed up as much as she could. I think she was in a Tahoe or something, but in any case, driving like a maniac, getting away from the fire. She crashes, rolls. She's okay. The car burst into flames in Idaho.
Oh, no.
And burns 2,600 or 2,800 acres in Idaho.
Wow.
Should have stayed there for just a little longer.
Not a good day for her.
No, caught Idaho on fire.
Kenny, you ever caught anything on fire? Oh, that's right. You said you did, didn't you?
I've caught everything I've ever touched on fire.
Fat, drunk, and
it just
stupid is
happens.
no way to go through life. So.
Well, we made it a point last week that I do not know how to do electrical things in cars, and I caught my golf cart on fire. You've caught Volkswagen Beetles on fire with cigarettes.
Yes, I have. But the golf cart thing, that's that I never had any good luck with that at all. I
was going to ask you how your experience is with electric.
Well, it's not good. I just know it hurts.
Did you keep on doing it?
Yeah. Well, you got to, because you want everybody to think you know what you're doing.
Wow. Kenny Coltrane, he's just a wealth of information.
Well, I just take a wire on my belt buckle and I'll attach it to a ground somewhere. I figured that'd be about the best way to do it from here on out,
Kenny Coltrane, what you need to do is when you're listening to Kenny Coltrane on Dipsticks and Deals, do the opposite.
That's right. Don't do what I do.
But he's here to help because he's got experience in a lot of things that a lot of folks in this economy are going to try to work on their car themselves. I know the time that you were putting brakes on your car and the I don't know what you were using for a jack exactly. I know it wasn't a car jack, but when the car fell on you, and remember we had to come out and get the car off the ground.
That hurt.
How long were you sitting there?
About a day.
About a day?
Yeah.
Weren't your legs numb? Because I remember the frame was like right across your thighs.
Yeah, I will never build that kind of a jack again. I made that out of wood.
Wow.
It worked for a little bit.
Have you or any member of your family ever been diagnosed schizophrenic?
How I don't understand though, Kenny, because what were you? If you're putting brakes on the car and you got it jacked up, you're really not under the car.
Oh, really? Well, I was. I mean, I couldn't see him with the tire on. How else are you supposed to see what you're doing?
You put brakes on a car and didn't take the tires off?
Oh, is that how you do that? No, I'm just kidding with you. Of course I took them tires off, Jimmy P.
You like NASCAR?
I love NASCAR.
I thought you might. I got some funny quotes from, or at least about racing. Most of these are from car drivers. One I thought was kind of cool. But the only problem with this is it doesn't tell me who says it, but I guess it doesn't matter. You can't make a race car out of a pig, but you can make a very fast pig.
That's a fact.
I don't even think I want to know why you think that's a fact.
That is
move forward.
It's amazing what you can do with anything you want. You can put anything you want on an engine and it'll go faster. I've done it.
If everything seems to be in control, you're not going fast enough. Mario Andretti said that. You show me a racer that says that he's never forgotten to tighten his lug nuts, and I'll show you a liar. Man, this is like written for Kenny Coltrane.
I've done that too.
I know you have.
Now that's scary because you know what's going to get ready to happen when you're going down the highway at 65 miles an hour and you feel that a shimmy coming on, and you know you forgot them lug nuts, and there it goes, and then the hood flies up and all kinds of hell breaks loose.
Kenny Cole, you should probably take notes. Everything that Kenny says, write down. Don't do this.
Well, I think it's happened to most people. They're just afraid to tell people about it.
Did you ever hear the one, Mr. Coltrane, about a closed mouth gathers no feet?
I don't even know what you just said right there. But I appreciate your input.
Better to be a racer for a moment than a spectator for a lifetime.
I think that'd be true.
That's powerful, isn't
Absolutely true.
it? Duct tape is the force.
Oh, yes.
It has a light side, a dark side, and it holds the universe together.
I have a feeling Kenny.
It's a fact.
Kenny has a lot of duct tape.
It's a fact. Use it on anything you want. Anything you want. I have an old beer mug that I still use duct tape on.
I believe that. You know what, though? And this is serious about duct tape.
I don't know why y'all think that's funny, because it's a fact.
There's a serious thing about duct tape. These guys, you ever watch that, what's that show with those guys that do experiments, Mythbusters or whatever?
Mythbusters.
They made a wall of duct tape and stopped a car.
It can be done.
Really?
It can be done.
Isn't it neat? That's cool.
It can be done. I don't know why y'all looking at me like that.
Did they use a 72 Vega?
I think that had duct tape on it.
Y'all need to leave that Vega alone. I know there's a lot of people out there that love to get in the Vega. You just don't see them anymore. They don't make them like that no more.
Well, there's a reason they don't make them like that, Kenny Coltrane.
Well, they need to make them like that because they ran good, and the women loved them.
I kind of find that hard to believe, but whatever. And I know you had the Vega, but you had something else too. Was it a Pinto or?
I had a Pinto. That was fast. That was faster than the Vega.
What is fast?
Downhill, though. Only downhill.
Okay.
And you had to get a good running with that one. You had to get a good run and try to jump in, so you had to leave that door open when you got down that hill.
Yeah.
And jump in, baby, because here we go, you know.
Was that the one you kept backing up, seeing if you could make the gas tank explode?
Yes, I did make that explode. That it did. That it did. That hurt. That hurt a little bit. I still got a couple of scars on that one.
So you knew that the Pinto had a rear impact explosion issue, and you decided to do some scientific testing on your own.
Jimmy B, I sold that car like that. You should have seen that character going down the road. Oh, boy, I could have seen his smoke cloud about a mile away.
We'll come back here in just a little bit. We got to talk about gas prices and a bunch of other stuff here on Dipsticks and Deals. We'll be right back to do that on Real Talk 1160.
Should I stay or should I go? Should I stay or should I go now? Should I stay or should I go?
If you drive a car, you must have this number, 1-800-828-0159. The number to STI Towing, the Tri-States Towing Pros. STI handles most motor clubs, including AAA, and they offer prompt, courteous, and professional service all day and all night. Mention Real Talk 1160 and the first 5 miles are free. That's 1-800-828-0159. 1-800-828-0159 for STI Towing.
Real Talk 1160. WQRT, Florence, Cincinnati. Home of the Bulldog, Eric Dieters. Laura Ingram. Michael Savage. Mike Huckabee. Real Sports with Wildman Walker. And Dennis Miller. Real Talk 1160.
AP Radio News. I'm Tim McGuire. The International Red Cross says Syria is in a state of civil war and that all international humanitarian laws apply to both sides in the escalating fighting. AP's Frank Jordans reports that includes the possibility of war crime charges if civilians and detainees are mistreated.
If a war crimes prosecutor looks at a situation in a place in Syria and finds that it may constitute a war crime, then this prosecutor might argue on the basis of the ICRC's assessment that a war crimes prosecution is necessary.
President Barack Obama and fellow Democrats are keeping the pressure on Republican Mitt Romney about the years that Romney ran Bain Capital. Romney campaign advisor Ed Gillespie tells NBC's Meet the Press that it's nothing more than a smear campaign.
It's patently false. It's a lie. And it's sad to see the Obama campaign reduced to these kinds of reckless, baseless charges.
But Illinois Democratic Senator Dick Durbin, also on Meet the Press, says Romney is trying to run away from his record.
There is abundant evidence that under Bain Capital, they were exporting American jobs to low-wage countries, and he doesn't want to be associated with it.
Republicans also charge that the Obama campaign has been attacking Romney as part of an effort to distract voters away from the still sluggish economy and high unemployment rate. A little boy in Indiana accidentally shoots and kills his father after finding his dad's pistol.
A man was watching a TV program with two of his children when his other child, a 3-year-old boy, located a loaded handgun in the area where they were watching the TV program.
Indiana State Police Sergeant Jerry Gooden calls the shooting a tragic accident because of the tragic mistake of leaving a gun within a child's reach. This is AP Radio News. Letters from an Army sergeant killed in Vietnam are back home.
4 letters from a South Carolina soldier who served in Vietnam have been returned to his family more than 40 years after his death. Military representatives of the Army's 101st Airborne Division presented the letters from Sergeant Steve Flaherty to his uncle and sister-in-law. Flaherty was killed in combat in Vietnam in 1969. Vietnamese soldiers took the letters after Flaherty's death. They were turned over to Defense Secretary Panetta last month when he visited Vietnam. Flaherty's uncle says it's a miracle the letters have shown up after so many years. I'm Sandy Kozel.
24 years after fleeing the United States, Mexican police have arrested one of the U.S. Marshal Service's most wanted fugitives. Police say Vincent Legrand Walters, who was working at the Cancun airport under an assumed name, is wanted in San Diego in connection with the 1988 killing of a woman who had been kidnapped after a drug deal went bad. I'm Tim McGuire, AP Radio News.
Weather when you need it. Your Real Talk 1160 forecast every 15 minutes.
Here's the forecast for northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, and the tri-state for this afternoon. Mostly cloudy, high near 85 degrees. Do have a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly after 4 p.m. For tonight, mostly cloudy, low 69, 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly before 8 p.m. On Monday, partly sunny, a high near 90, and we do have a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. From the Real Talk 1160 WeatherBug Forecast Center, this is Jim Tice.
Jerry Doyle.
One of my doctors from Cuba said that if I was in the Cuban healthcare system or the British healthcare system, or if I was in the Obamacare system 5 years from now, you'd already have a toe tag.
The Jerry Doyle Show, weeknights at 7 on Real Talk 1160.
Hi, folks. Debbie Robke with Robke Automotive. I'm here to tell you about Northern Kentucky's best full-service used car store. Shop Robke for sales, service, parts, collision repair, and rental car. Robke Automotive, where quality is superior. Our prices can't be beat, our service is guaranteed, and our parts come with a national warranty. Come visit Robke and see why our customers are always smiling. Robke Automotive, I-275 at Exit 80 in Northern Kentucky, on the web at GoRobke.com, or check us out on Facebook for fantastic deals of the week.
We're driven to treat you right.
Reincarnation Auto Body and Paint of Northern Kentucky. This is Don. May I help you?
Don, this is Rick from 1160, man.
Hey, Rick. How are you doing?
Not good. Okay, long story short, Pecora loaned me his car to go pick up his dry cleaning, and on my way out, I backed right into a light pole. He is going to kill me.
All right, Rick. Settle down. Bring it in, and I'll personally inspect the damage. I'm positive we can take care of it with no problem at all.
You are the man. But Don, this has to stay between me and you.
Hi, I'm Don Metalka, owner of Reincarnation Auto Body and Paint. Bring your damaged vehicle, and I will personally take the time to show you why Reincarnation is different. We're flexible with your deductible, and I know my experience with handling insurance companies will help you get your repairs done smoothly. Just Google Reincarnation of Northern Kentucky, where we bring good cars back to life. Reincarnation Auto Body and Paint, Don Matalka speaking.
Hey, Don, it's Picoro. See, I was out driving in the wife's van, and I drove by your lot, and I thought I saw a car that looked like mine.
Yeah, that's the popular color.
Listen to what's new.
Well, I don't think the Secret Service agents in question were on their best behavior. They're in a little bit of trouble and probably going to have to do some explaining.
Lucy, what have you got to say for yourself?
The Mike Huckabee Show, weekday afternoons at 3 on Real Talk 1160.
It's hiding under the sink. It's hiding under the couch. It's in the basement. It can even be in your bed.
What is that?
It's bugs.
The mild winter we had was good for us and great for pests. But don't fret. Call Harvey's Pest Control and ask for Tom Harvey. He'll find it and he'll kill it. Harvey's Pest Control, 513-300-2880. That's 513-300-2880.
Listen all you want. We'll make more. Real Talk 1160. Welcome to Dipsticks and Deals with Jimmy B and the Third Wheel on Real Talk 1160. Everything you need to know about cars, buying, financing, trading, maintenance, repairs, auto body, and more. Join the program by calling 513-579-1160. Now, here are your hosts, Jimmy B and the Third Wheel on Real Talk 1160.
You're cruising along. We're getting ready to shift into third gear on Dipsticks and Deals with your host, Jimmy B, and the Third Wheel. If you're just tuning in, last segment we just did a free-for-all, freewheeling, and got a little insight from Kenny Coltrane, who's here today.
Where's Kenny from again?
Kenny's from Casey County.
Where's that at?
Kentucky.
That's a far bike ride.
Now, I got to tell you, just so that you understand, because we talked earlier in the show about all the listeners we had from all over the place, and our mantra here is "You will be smarter for having listened," and that we want to keep with. So we thought, what better way to, help people in the automotive stuff than to get somebody like Kenny who really does everything wrong.
Why, sure,
a little reverse psychology.
And I'm not trying to put you down, Kenny. I think you have a lot of value and a lot of worth because I know you've been through a lot of things relative to cars. I know you've been arrested many, many times.
Amen,
and I know
brother.
you've had a lot of cars towed. A lot of tow truck drivers personally now, I think. And,
yeah, good friends.
And I think that adds a lot of value. So, Kenny Coltrane.
Thank you. Thank you.
He's got that hard knock experience.
Hard knock, real life, real world experience. That's what Kenny Coltrane and Coltrane's Corner is going to bring to Dipsticks and Deals. What do we got going on in fuel prices these days?
Well, according to the AAA, the national average is $3.39 a gallon. And around the tri-state, it's $3.32 is going to be on the low end, and $3.49 is going to be on the high end, and unfortunately, it's in my neighborhood.
Well, I got gas this morning in Williamstown, Kentucky, and paid $3.54.
I got gas in Anderson. It's $3.49. So I guess yours would be
a little bit higher. But
well,
we're
you're a little
always
lower. You're a little lower. Or you're a little down further than.
Yeah, we're about an hour south of Cincy.
That'd be high for a rural area.
Well, that's why it's high. It's rural. You're not getting gas anywhere else.
You know where the highest in the country?
What?
Take a guess.
California.
Nope. Anyone else? Kenny?
New York.
Nope.
Hawaii.
Jamaica.
Hawaii.
It takes them pipes, it's a lot of money to get that.
$4.21 a gallon. And the lowest in the country is what state?
Washington State.
No.
Texas.
Louisiana.
Should be Alaska because they can just.
South Carolina.
Really?
$3.04.
Wow.
Actually, Alaska's $4.
You think well, it's $4 because so many people poke holes in the pipeline and put spigots in it.
That's what I do.
Is that what it is?
That's what Kenny Coltrane told me during break that he would do.
Why, sure, son. If you have an endless supply of it right there in your yard, why would you go anywhere else?
So you're going to be one of those future frackers, they call them.
I like that word, fracking.
Hey, real quick, I want to mention a couple other really great sponsors of the show. Mel's Auto Glass and STI Towing. Mel's Auto Glass, really, folks, all glass places, installers, automotive glasses are not the same. Mel's Auto Glass has been doing it in the tri-state for a long, long time. I know Mel personally. I know how he runs his business. He's got quality, trained, professional, experienced guys that have been with him for a long time. I wouldn't have anybody touch glass on my car if it weren't Mel's Auto Glass. Check out Google Mel's Auto Glass. Look them up if you need windshield repair or replacement, because they do repairs as well. They do everything for us down at Robke. STI Towing, same thing. Put their number in your glove box. I've shouted it out on the air a million times. Go to our website. We've got all the information. But STI Towing is one of those towing companies that can tow anything from a smart car to your house. They do it all. They have long distance, local, heavy duty. They had a truck down at the car show, which I put on our Facebook page. You ought to check it out. One of 4 or 5, I think, that they have like this, and just an incredible piece of equipment. Not that our everyday listeners are going to need that, but that just gives you the scope of what STI Towing does. They're the best in the business.
2 good, solid companies. Hey, Jimmy Beam, let me ask you, this next item you're going to talk about, the car of the week, what about gas with these things, these type of cars?
Well, we've actually got somebody in the studio that could probably answer that better. So I'll tell you what the car of the week is, and then, Dad, you can tell us a little bit about the fuel economy and something like this maybe. You said you were 70, right?
Last time I'm over 70.
Okay, you're over 70. So let me tell you what the car of the week is, and then we want to get a little input. And if you don't have any input, we'll ask Kenny, and we really don't want to do that.
Yeah, you do.
1962 Chevy Impala SS 409. 409 engine, of course, 340 horsepower, available in a 4-speed or Power Glide automatic transmission. This was the first year of the 49 that replaced the 348. Beach Boys made the car famous when their song about the car, of course, the song 409. What kind of gas mileage did a Chevy Impala 409 get? Because you had a 348 car, didn't you?
I had a 348, had 3 deuces on it, and that got about 13, 14 miles a gallon.
Well, that's not bad, really, considering that engine and that carburetor setup.
Yeah.
How much was gas back then?
17 cents a gallon.
17 cents a gallon.
I was going to say a dime. I was close. Wasn't I?
Yeah, it was close.
Hey, Kenny Coltrane, could you shut up for a second? Now, the 348 car you had, what year Impala was that?
That was a 59. 59 convertible.
Oh, okay. So, and that's what we reported here. The 62 is when they introduced the 409.
Yeah. I would say that's probably close, maybe 12 to 14 miles a gallon. I really don't know for sure, but probably close to what that 348 was.
Now, how long did you have your 58 or 59? Did you have it through 62 when the 409 came out?
Actually, at that time, I was going through cars pretty quick.
Right.
So I had that 59 for a couple of years, and then got a 68 Fastback Mustang I bought used, and it was off to the races from there. Bought a new 69 Hemi.
Wow,
Dodge Coronet.
You went right to the big leagues.
Yeah, I had a couple of had a 440 Magnum, stick shift, and the Hemi, of course, was automatic. Had 2 4-barrel carburetors on it. She would move. I got out on the interstate one time with that thing, and before 275 was complete, between Coleraine and Hamilton Avenue, was racing a 427 Bet. We got up to about 130. It's a true story. Got up about 130 miles an hour, and the front end of that Hemi started floating.
Wow.
And it scared me to death, and I backed off. But I was out. He got me off the line, but I killed him on the high end because I had a 323 rear end in it.
Wow.
And I finished, by the time we both slowed down, I was about 6 car lengths ahead of him.
And who owned that Corvette? I think I've heard this story.
This was just a guy that I met.
You didn't know the guy?
I didn't know the guy. I met him down at Frisch's, and he asked me if he wanted to run that piece of crap.
Really?
And you couldn't say that to me at that time. So I said, well, absolutely. And that's what we did.
Wow.
And he almost cried. He thought surely he could take me.
Oh,
he did. He came off that line about 3 or 4 car lengths ahead of me.
Wow. Now that's a cool story.
That is. I know he has some more because he was telling me off break about something that I think we all can relate to if you liked racing cars. Jumping a little bit of hill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got some stories, too.
But he's so old, he'll tell you what street it was on and how different it is now.
We're up against the break. We'll be right back with all these fellas on Dipsticks and Deals, Real Talk 1160.
Our story.
Weather when you need it. Your Real Talk 1160 forecast every 15 minutes.
Here's the forecast for northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, and the tri-state for this afternoon. Mostly cloudy, high near 85 degrees. Do have a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly after 4 p.m. For tonight, mostly cloudy, low 69, 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly before 8 p.m. On Monday, partly sunny, a high near 90, and we do have a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. From the Real Talk 1160 Weather and Forecast Center, this is Jim Tice.
How about real car talk? Maintenance and repairs, buying and selling, hot rods and cool rides, performance, off-road and auto racing. How about Dipsticks and Deals on Real Talk 1160, the show that's anything and everything automotive, every Sunday morning from 9 to 11. With me, your host, Jimmy B, and the Third Wheel, you'll get industry insight, cool trends, tips and tricks, and a whole lot more. For an entertaining and engaging look into the automotive world, listen to Dipsticks and Deals every Sunday morning at 9 on Real Talk 1160. You'll be smarter for having listened.
Dennis Miller? We've got an app for that.
I'm the guy who can't seem to figure out how to turn his radio down.
Download TuneIn Radio for your Android, iPhone, or BlackBerry and listen to Real Talk 1160 anytime, anywhere.
Imagine you're reaching for a pen when you slip and, yep, there goes your coffee, right onto your computer. If you're one of the almost 50% of small businesses that don't back up their PCs, you've just lost data, and there's a good chance you'll lose sales. From human error to natural disasters, or even those little oops moments, there's always a risk of your computer system going down, and that could really hurt your business. Take it from Doug McDonald at the Cincinnati Museum Center.
Like every other business, data is critically important. We have over 80,000 records of donors and members who are critical to our livelihood.
That may be enough to make you give up coffee forever, but there's a better way. How does the Museum Center do it?
Cincinnati Bell is a wonderful partner, and with them, I don't worry about these things. That gives me peace of mind.
So don't swear off coffee just yet, because Cincinnati Bell is now offering data backup, part of our Peace of Mind suite. Get 25 gigs for just $25 for 12 months. Now that should help you relax, unless you've had too much coffee. Just call 513-2-BUNDLE or visit myrightsolution.com/backup. Cincinnati Bell, right here for you.
Hi folks, Debbie Robke with Robke Automotive. I'm here to tell you about Northern Kentucky's best full-service used car store. Shop Robke for sales, service, parts, collision repair, and rental car. Robke Automotive, where quality is superior. Our prices can't be beat, our service is guaranteed, and our parts come with a national warranty. Come visit Robke and see why our customers are always smiling. Robke Automotive, I-275 at Exit 80 in Northern Kentucky, on the web at GoRobke.com, or check us out on Facebook for fantastic deals of the week.
We're driven to treat you right.
This is what real sports sounds like.
Johnson's biggest issue? Why? Am I not surprised? His ability to pick up the Patriots playbook.
Those 15 catches, that's good for 126th all-time on the Patriots list right
Wow.
now.
Real sports, weekdays at 5 on Real Talk 1160.
Hi, I'm Jeff Pecora, one of the voices of the Cincinnati Reds, and I'm here with Colleen Hawes, owner of the premier casual upscale restaurant Grandview Tavern and Grill.
Thank you, Jeff. It's a place where business meets casual in a social setting. Come enjoy our New York strips, bacon-wrapped shrimp and grits, or specials like pan-seared sea bass, and don't skip dessert. I promise they are worth the calories.
My wife can't get enough of your handmade specialty pizzas, and I love Train beers.
Nothing's better than watching our Reds win on one of our 16 flat-screen TVs.
I found the Grandview Tavern and Grill to be the best place for lunch meetings with incredible food and impeccable service.
I'm so excited to be out on the patio again. We pack them in out there. Whether you're here to network for business, have an intimate dinner for two, or dance the night away to live music under the stars, this place is for everyone.
Yeah, since coming to the Grandview Tavern, we feel more comfortable than any of the other restaurants. And by the way, Colleen, your outdoor patio rocks.
Jeff, you're too much. Just Google Grandview Tavern and Grill for the latest happenings and list of music.
It's cleaning time. Windows, gutters, decks, you know everything you hate. Then why do it? Call Precision General Contracting. Frank Drew and his crew, they do it all. Affordable pricing and high quality work. Pressure washing, window and roof replacement. Precision is the one number for all your home projects. For a free estimate anywhere in Greater Cincinnati area, call 812-537-5932. That's 812-537-5932. Precision General Contracting.
Michael Savage, weekdays noon to 3. Real Talk 1160.
Welcome back. Third gear, Dipsticks and Deals on Real Talk 1160. Before we went to break,
I was talking a little bit about some of the I guess some of the things we all can somewhat relate to, I think your father can relate to it a little better than we can, about taking your car and either racing somebody or by yourself and going down a street that has a few hills and decide to see how far you can fly in it without killing yourself. Now, I do not, let me state, I do not recommend anybody doing this ever. And even we didn't even have seatbelts then as far as using them. It wasn't a law. So don't try it. Drive around with your seatbelt. That's just my disclaimer on this. However, Dad, what's this story I hear about you race? You like to race people. I don't care what kind of terrain it is. You raced a couple people down on a street that now myself may be a little bit too young to remember that it's a big road now. But what road is this you're talking about? What did you do? And I don't ever remember any hills on this thing.
Well, out on Coleraine Avenue, back in the 50s, that was a 2-lane highway with very little of anything on it. Some houses, a couple of bars. There was an old airport out there at Springdale and
where the mall is.
Yeah, where that car care station was. That
BP.
Yeah,
that was an airport.
That was an airport, and there was Kissel Brothers Amusement Park, and that's where Home Depot is now. There was a lot of traffic. You got to remember, back in the 50s, you didn't have a lot of cars running around like you do today. You had several, but we used to take and go out on Coleraine, where it ran between Springdale and Kemper Road, and we'd race. We'd pull out of Frisch's down there at Coleraine Avenue. There was a Frisch's basically near where the Kentucky Fried Chicken is, actually up on the hill more where that Walmart is on Coleraine Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
And we used to set up races together in the Frisch's. So then we'd take out and head north towards Kemper Road to race, and we'd get side by side on that 2-lane. I mean, it's a dumb thing. This is a dumb thing. It's a wonder we're alive. But one car would be in the opposing lane, and the other car would be in the right lane, and we'd take off racing. When you got out there by Old Coleraine, now it's called Old Coleraine, it branches off by Rumpke there.
Mm-hmm.
There's some hills up and down those roads there that we could jump, and especially when you got close to Kemper, the hills get a little steeper. And we'd go flying off those hills side by side. Now, that I always thank God that there was never anybody coming on the other side of the road, because one of the cars, whoever was in the opposing lane, would have landed right on top of it.
Oh, wow.
But we were never threatened by that. Well, first of all, we were 18 and 19 years old when you're not threatened by anything. But secondly, there just weren't a lot of cars. You just didn't worry about that as much. And so we'd go racing down there, and then we'd have to slow up because the cops would always be waiting at Kemper Road. So we'd have to slow up or turn around and head back.
I thought we were crazy doing that on Gaines Road, but it was usually one car, and we stayed in our lane.
Yeah, a lot of times we drove over the hill to make sure nobody was coming. Yeah. Okay, you stand here and just wave if somebody's coming, so we didn't kill ourselves.
We didn't do none of that kind of racing where I come from. We just always last man standing. You know, the last car running, you won. We didn't go in a direction. We went in all directions.
So your car stops. Whoever stops last.
That's right. That's right. If your car was running at the end of the race, you won that race. And you got the 12-pack.
Now, Jimmy B, this sounds like to me like, and I don't want to insult you guys, sounds like we have some dipsticks here.
Well, those are some dipstick things to do, at least these days, because I can tell you that, I mean, what would the cops do when they caught you?
Well, if you had alcohol, they'd bust you. But if you just were racing, they'd tell you to park the car, or next time you're going to jail. They wouldn't frequently arrest you unless you were drinking.
See, it's a lot different these days.
Yeah.
You're subject to forfeiture automatically, and if you caught drag racing, I think.
Oh no, we never had a lot of rules like that. I mean, the cops out there knew practically everybody.
Right.
And they just didn't like us racing down the highway and being so dumb about it. But you didn't get in trouble unless you had alcohol in it.
Yeah, it's a lot different today.
Yeah, just the speed violation of going 20 miles or plus over the speed limit's going to cost you. And if you're a juvenile, you might as well forget about driving.
Yeah, so listen up and don't do it.
And
it's not worth it. And Edgewater and Tri-State and Thornhill, they have nights for you guys to go down and race legally and safely because they have regulations before you do it. That's the way you want to do it. don't get out and do it on today's roads. It's not worth it. And if aside from hurting yourself, you hurt somebody else. So don't do it.
And you do get hurt even if you land safely. I remember getting an axle through the back seat and knocking my head to the roof.
Well, back in those days, you could get a race just pulling up to a traffic light because everybody had the hot cars and a lot of souped-up cars in the 50s, and it was just thing. You wanted to go out there and prove that you were the baddest man in town, which was stupid, but that's what you did.
Did you ever race against a 72 Vega?
Ain't nobody.
If I saw a 72 Vega, I'd go around the other way. There's no way I'd race that 72 Vega.
This is the man that understands the Vega.
That brings us to this week's Dipstick of the Week. Jake Chutz. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. It really doesn't matter. He's a dipstick. He's 27 years old from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And Jake was actually a Baton Rouge police officer for more than 5 years. And he recently responded to a DUI crash. This just happened on June 2nd. Everything was routine as far as the report and all that sort of thing. Now, the guy that crashed the car was DUI and was arrested, so he went to jail. The car was impounded. Jake decided that he needed an iPhone, and the victim actually had one on the seat, so he took it.
Oh, no.
And, he took ownership of the guy's phone knowing that he wasn't going to be driving because he was DUI and he was in jail. I guess Jake's not familiar with the extent of cell phone technology these days because they not only were able to track and pinpoint this phone, but they were able to dial up and see the nickname for the phone because you can put a nickname on your phone on the home screen, and his nickname was Jake Chout's iPhone. So they knew right where to go.
Clever.
Louisiana police. I'm not going to say anymore.
That's ridiculous, man.
It is ridiculous.
Cops going to steal your iPhone? Come on. What a dipstick.
Hey, I have a quick dipstick story, too, to tell you, and I told you the story before when I was a police officer. A lady I was following looked like she was driving under the influence, decides to pull into her driveway at her home, gets out of the car as I pull in behind her, jumps up and down. I'm safe, you can't touch me. Waving her hands.
No, that don't work, does
It's like,
it?
yeah, we're not playing tag, lady. You're not on base.
Home base is a figure of speech.
Yeah, she found another home.
Wow.
Yeah, that don't work at all.
Took her to jail.
She had fun, I guess, anyway. Thought she
was
won
happy for about
something.
30 seconds. I let her go. She just jumping up and dancing. All right.
One time I drove into the police station acting like I was late for work when they were chasing me. I didn't go over too well.
Fat, drunk, and
You
stupid is no
weren't
way
the
to live
cop?
life, son.
Well, no, he was going to pull me over.
Yeah.
And I said, not today. Got a lot of things I had to do. So I took off. Well, he wouldn't let it go. So I said, well, I'll just act like I'm going where he's going. So I drove straight to the police station.
Oh, no.
I figured, Kenny, this is how you learn how to race.
Kenny Coltrane.
He learned how to race by avoiding.
That probably didn't go too well for
No,
you.
he thanked me, though. He said, I'm glad you did that because I was low on fuel and going that way anyway.
Kenny, have you ever done any hill jumping in your day?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I never quite landed back on the road, though. We down in the hills, them hills are a little bit different down there because it's always a hill then a turn.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to pick very wisely. And I never quite ever understood that. So a lot of times, I got a lot of cars down there in them hills right now. You probably go down and see that Pinto.
And maybe that's where that saying comes from. I was thinking about this the other day. Whenever anybody tells a car story, how come they always end up in a cornfield?
Well, because that's usually what happens.
But it's never a soybean field or a tobacco patch. It's
Oh, that's
always
true.
a cornfield. Landed in a farmer's cornfield. Why does that happen to everybody? I've never been in. I've been in a farmer's cornfield, not in my car.
Yeah. What were you doing?
Picking corn.
Oh, yeah?
You probably know a lot about that.
You got corn?
Oh, my God. Kenny Coltrane. Coltrane's Corner, which we hope we'll have a segment for you in a week or two. If you like Kenny Coltrane, jump on Facebook and tell us. You can call 513-579-1160. We'd love to talk to you. Kenny would, too.
Uh-huh.
Or go to Jimmy B at dipsticksanddeals.com or The Third Wheel at dipsticksanddeals.com. Let us know what you think of Kenny Coltrane.
Tell me what you think.
When we come back, we'll have a little bit of more Kenny. We got some emails we want to look at from some of our listeners, and a whole lot more coming up on Dipsticks and Deals, Real Talk 1160.
Weather when you need it. Your Real Talk 1160 forecast every 15 minutes.
Here's the forecast for northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, and the tri-state for this afternoon. Mostly cloudy, high near 85 degrees. Do have a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly after 4 p.m. For tonight, mostly cloudy, low 69, 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly before 8 p.m. On Monday, partly sunny, high near 90, and we do have a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. From the Real Talk 1160 Weather Bug Forecast Center, this is Jim Tice.
Attention business owners and individuals who owe the IRS. Do you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes? You need aggressive representation. Call Certified Tax now at 800-440-5360 and speak to one of our tax attorneys, enrolled agents, or tax professionals who specialize in tax liens, back taxes, tax debt, wage garnishment, and collections. We won't waste a minute helping you with your tax problems. We'll be on the phone with the IRS within 30 minutes of you becoming a client. We've settled millions of dollars of tax issues for a fraction of the cost. Find the peace of mind knowing the IRS will not be knocking on your door. Protect your home, business, and family today. We know the tax laws and we act fast. Call today for your free, no-obligation consultation. 800-440-5360. Remember, we'll be on the phone with the IRS within 30 minutes of you becoming a client. That's guaranteed. Call Certified Tax at 800-440-5360. That's 800-440-5360. Again, 800-440-5360.
Hi, folks. Debbie Robke with Robke Automotive. I'm here to tell you about Northern Kentucky's best full-service used car store. Shop Robke for sales, service, parts, collision repair, and rental car. Robke Automotive, where quality is superior. Our prices can't be beat, our service is guaranteed, and our parts come with a national warranty. Come visit Robke and see why our customers are always smiling. Robke Automotive, I-275 at Exit 80 in Northern Kentucky, on the web at GoRobke.com, or check us out on Facebook for fantastic deals of the week.
We're driven to treat you right.
Real Talk 1160 is on Facebook. It's okay to love us. Too bad Facebook only has a like button. Let us know what you think. Comment, unload, let loose, or praise away. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Real Talk 1160. Did you know Fear Buick GMC in Hamilton has been family owned and operated and serving the tri-state since 1932? Isn't that the kind of dealership you want to buy your next car from? And because of that success, Fear Buick GMC announces their upcoming move later this year to their new 26,000 square foot location between Menards and Kohl's near Bridgewater Falls. Come see Ray Tenley, Fear's general manager for the past 25 years, and tell him Dipsticks and Deals sent you. Call 513-863-8111 or visit FearMotors.com. That's FIEHRER Motors.com. Between the economy and the price of gas, how about a way to save some money for a change? Lower your insurance premium with help from Huseman Schmidt Insurance. They understand more than most because they've been local, family-owned, and part of your community since 1976. Huseman Schmidt's expertise and common sense approach have helped their clients protect their assets and save money. For all your business and personal insurance needs, call Huseman Schmidt at 513-521-8590 and ask for Rob or AJ, or visit HusemanSchmid.com. Huseman Schmid cares. This is the Bulldog.
I marvel that you look at the political landscape with elected politicians. The same politicians that continue to send our men and women to Afghanistan to die. How many of them are willing to truly make the ultimate sacrifice for our country?
The Bulldog. Eric Dieters. Mornings 7 to 9. Real Talk 1160.
You want speed? You want power? You want style? You want something that turns heads? Then you want Easy Street Speed and Customs in Milford. Easy Street offers everything from minor repairs to full restoration, custom builds, late model mod, performance parts, and an on-site dyno for real performance tuning. Hot rods and cool rides at Easy Street Speed and Custom, 701 Chamber Drive in Milford, 513-831-7550. That's 513-831-7550.
Hey, this is Rick the Brick, and I gotta tell you about the #1 place for fun in Cincinnati, and it's Dave & Buster's over in Springdale. They have everything from the latest video games, billiards, virtual golf, 2 full bars, and great prizes for kids and for adults. Check out their great specials like the Eat and Play Combo, a delicious entree, and a $10 game card for just $16.99. Monday night is trivia night, and Wednesday, all the games are half price all day. So head on over. For directions and more details, log on to daveandbusters.com. Dave & Buster's, feed your fun already.
Download the free TuneIn Radio app and listen anytime to Real Talk 1160.
Welcome back. We're getting ready to shift into fourth gear on Dipsticks and Deals, the show that's anything and everything automotive, including this week an introduction to Kenny Coltrane. And Kenny, I was looking at your application where you had filled it out.
How can I help you, Jimmy?
How is it exactly? I see you apply, and this is an automotive radio talk show, and you don't even have a driver's license.
Oh, no, sir. No, not in the state of Ohio or state of Kentucky or state of Indiana or the pretty much lower 48. They just said, no, Coltrane, you get out that automobile.
So how do you get around? How'd you get here today?
I got me a 10-speed.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
So you ride a bike everywhere?
I have no choice.
Okay.
I've been arrested on that, too. That's another day, another story.
Been arrested on a 10-speed?
Well, sure, son.
You did know what you were applying for when you applied for this position, right?
Yes, I am to take out the trash and sweep the floors.
You applied for the janitorial position that the radio station has?
That's what that's what I thought I was doing here, and then some guy grabbed me and told me to sit in here, and here I am. I don't know. Is this the interview for the job?
It may very well be.
'Cause I don't know. All I know is, look, they say sweep the floors, take out the trash, and that's what I'm here to do. But this is a far ride on a 10-speed. Let me tell you something. Them people on the highway do not care about people on bikes.
Bike Safety Month, huh?
All right, listen, we got to get to a couple of emails that some listeners sent in. And remember, if you go to ask@dipsticksanddeals.com, submit an entry, and we end up using it on the air, you get a free Listen Up Dipsticks and Deals t-shirt, which are going like flapjacks.
And you can ask anything you want. If it's a technical question that you want
That's
Jimmy
right.
B to diagnose for you, then go ahead and do it.
Yeah, just because we don't advocate for call-in diagnostic, there's other shows in town for that. We like to give you a little bit more than just that. But if you do have a specific issue like these folks do, feel free to drop us a line at ask@dipsticksanddeals.com.
Even on the sales side.
That's right. This one comes to us from Gary L. He says, I ran over something and got a flat the other day. The shop I took it to pulled out a very large piece of metal. They had to put 2 plugs in it to get it to stop leaking, and now it's still losing air. It's just a lot slower. Is this dangerous? Should it be okay as long as I keep the tire pressure set? The tire still has a lot of good tread, and I don't want to have to put a new one on yet. Well, here's the thing, Gary. There's a right way and a wrong way to repair a tire that's had a puncture. In fact, there are federal guidelines through the Department of Transportation that determine what an acceptable repair method is and what is not. The tire plugs that you see for sale in the auto parts store and at Walmart are not Department of Transportation accepted as a method to repair a tire that's been punctured. If you look at those packages, you're going to see check local laws for restrictions, etc. It's going to say for off-road use only, for implement tires. It's not. Those plugs, although they were used widely for many years, with the construction of today's tires, with the higher rates of speeds that we are going on our highways, you don't want to put a plug in a tire unless it's an absolute dire emergency to get you off the road or whatever the case is, but you don't want to leave it there, especially when you're in a situation like this, Gary, where they put 2 plugs. It must have been a pretty good-sized hole. The correct way to repair one as far as the Department of Transportation is concerned, and if you're going to a shop that doesn't do this, don't get your tire work done there. The tire has to be dismounted from the wheel. There's a procedure that actually prepares the surface of the tire at the point of impact after the debris has been removed, and they actually put a radial patch in it that has metal radial material in it, just like the tire for stability. It's a permanent patch. It's kind of like a pool patch, really. When you patch your pool, it's the same concept. It's just going to hold air instead of water. That patch will last a lifetime. It will not destroy the integrity of the tire like a plug can do. So that's the proper way to do it. What kind of holes can you repair? Pretty much anything that is less than an inch from the shoulder cannot be plugged or should not be plugged. Obviously, anything in the sidewall of the tire you cannot plug, although I've seen it. Extreme circumstance, I'm not going to advocate for it unless you're going a short distance to get to a place to get it repaired or get a tire replaced. Other than that, you don't want to put those kind of plugs in your tire. You want to have a professional shop like Fear up north or Robke down south. There's countless others. If they follow the law and they want to do a professional job, it's more expensive. A tire plug was, $5, $10. Somebody at a small shop might charge you, but they're doing you a disservice. So you're wasting your money. They're doing something they're not allowed to do. The tire repair done properly is going to cost a little bit more money, but especially in this case, like for you, Gary, you've got a good tire on there, and maybe for $25, $30 you can get that tire repaired, and that's far less these days than the cost of a tire. So
what about the warranty on that? When you do something like that and say you put the plug in and that isn't the right way to do it, the manufacturer warranty?
Well,
I don't know anything about it. That's what I'm asking.
Any tire, if you've ad a tire that has a tread wear warranty on it that has a tread wear issue, let me back up. Manufacturer warranties on tires don't cover road hazard.
So that's excluded.
So typically, the tire is going to be destroyed and there's really nothing to warrant. You ran over something. It's tread wear warranty is what they have, workmanship, material, and life of tread, so long as you do certain things like keeping the tires rotated, keeping the proper air pressure, and they can tell. So if you got a 40,000 mile rated tire and you get 30 out of it and they're bald, they're going to look at that tire and they're going to be able to tell, was it overinflated, underinflated? Was it balanced properly? Was it rotated? Was the car aligned? Those factors are what's going to determine tread wear warranty or not. And the majority of the time, it's laid on the consumer because we just don't do those kind of things on a regular basis, or at least the way the manufacturer of the tire wants us to do it. So you got a heat danger there, Gary, with those two plugs. You want to go get those taken care of. If it's a two-plug repair, it's probably too big to do a radial patch. I don't know without seeing it, but have a professional shop look at that and repair it properly, or better yet, get a new tire, because with the high temperatures that we've had lately especially, if we talked about this last week, I think all those alligators you see on the highway, the tire treads that come off the recaps on the semi-trucks, that as the heat increases, so does the pressure. The PSI increases in that tire. Your separation point is now where those two plugs are, so you're susceptible to having a blowout, which could endanger your life or somebody else's. So, Gary, get that fixed and taken care of. We appreciate the email. It was a great topic. You get a free T-shirt, so we got your address and everything, and we'll send you an email, and you get a free D&D Listen Up T-shirt for that.
I want one of them.
You're going to have to buy one, Kenny. I'm sorry.
Oh.
You have to introduce something of value, so until we get to that point in Coltrane's Corner, you have to buy a shirt.
Okay, then. I'll buy a shirt. Give me two.
We'll do that.
I'll buy you one, Jimmy. Third wheel, you want one of them?
I won't want to.
What about Nappy Pappy? You like them?
Oh, Nappy Pappy's in for shirts.
All right, we'll do around shirts.
Next one we got here, we got just a couple of minutes to hit. Jeff H. This is actually probably too big a subject for this before we go to break, but he's got a 2000 Ford F-150. It's got a 5.4-liter engine. He says it's due for spark plugs and some other minor maintenance. I'm being told that it will be at least $600 for the tune-up, and could be a couple of $1,000s if the spark plugs break when they're being removed. I've heard about this on these trucks, so I guess I have to take the risk. But before I take it in, I want to know if there's any alternatives. Should I let a Ford dealer do it? I'm trying to paraphrase here. Should I only let a Ford dealer do the work, since it sounds like this could get ugly? Couple of things real quick. You don't have to go to a Ford dealer to have this done. You do need to go to a good shop, a certified shop, a shop that has seen this before. This is an issue with these trucks, that the spark plugs can break upon removal, which can make for a more costly tune-up. But for the hundreds that we've done at Robke, we've never had to put cylinder heads on one. We've never had a bill more than probably $480, and that's if they all break. It's really made a bigger issue by some shops that have never either seen it or they buy into all the hoopla surrounding it. This is a fairly routine fix, despite what you've heard and all the doom and gloom you've seen out on the internet. So if you're getting doom and gloom from your service center, Jeff, find somebody else. Get a second opinion. You should be between $300 to $500 to do these without any issue. We got a lot more to get into, and we'll recap what we talked about on Dipsticks and Deals. Real Talk 1160.
Weather when you need it. Your Real Talk 1160 forecast every 15 minutes.
Here's the forecast for northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, and the tri-state for this afternoon. Mostly cloudy, high near 85 degrees. Do have a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly after 4 p.m. For tonight, mostly cloudy, low 69, 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly before 8 p.m. On Monday, partly sunny, high near 90, and we do have a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. From the Real Talk 1160 WeatherBug Forecast Center, this is Jim Tice.
If you drive a car, you must have this number, 1-800-828-0159. The number to STI Towing, the Tri-States Towing Pros. STI handles most motor clubs, including AAA, and they offer prompt, courteous, and professional service all day and all night. Mention Real Talk 1160 and the first 5 miles are free. That's 1-800-828-0159. 1-800-828-0159 for STI Towing.
I don't want to get off on a rant here, but extreme sports? Folks, let's call this what it is. Weird shit invented by guys who are willing to die to get laid.
Dennis Miller, weeknights at 10 on Real Talk 1160.
Hey folks, Jimmy B here. Did you know that one of the most important structural aspects of your vehicle is the windshield? It accounts for almost 50% of the rollover strength. That's why you must choose the right company for windshield repair and replacement, and that's Mel's Auto Glass. Mel's Auto Glass has certified professionals serving the tri-state for more than 25 years. Don't trust something so important to anyone else. The experts at Mel's Auto Glass for quality, value, and peace of mind. Call 513-563-7771. That's 513-563-7771.
Enjoy the 100 greatest books of all time and never read a word. Listen to them instead on the Library of Classics MP3 player. Enjoy Moby Dick, Gulliver's Travels, Tom Sawyer, Little Women, and 96 more, all preloaded on the compact player. Listen while driving, gardening, working out, or relaxing in your favorite chair. It's the perfect companion for road trips or on a plane. For a limited time, you'll receive the easy-to-use MP3 player, headphones, belt clip, car adapter, and 100 classic audio books. You could easily spend over $1,000 to buy the entire collection. You get everything for just $99 plus shipping. That's less than $1 a book. Order now and you'll also get 50 great classical music performances preloaded on the player. You're fully protected by our lifetime guarantee. If you are ever dissatisfied, get a complete refund, no questions asked. Call toll-free right now and order your library of classics.
1-800-435-6041. 1-800-435-6041. That's 1-800-435-6041.
Hi, folks. Debbie Robke with Robke Automotive. I'm here to tell you about Northern Kentucky's best full-service used car store. Shop Robke for sales, service, parts, collision repair, and rental car. Robke Automotive, where quality is superior. Our prices can't be beat, our service is guaranteed, and our parts come with a national warranty. Come visit Robke and see why our customers are always smiling. Robke Automotive, I-275 at Exit 80 in Northern Kentucky, on the web at GoRobke.com, or check us out on Facebook for fantastic deals of the week.
We're driven to treat you right.
You're my parent, and I'll always need you.
No matter their age, your children never stop counting on you. Visit parenting.org or call the Boys Town National Hotline at 800-448-3000 for free parenting advice.
Thanks for calling Pedal Pushers. This is Glenna. Can I help you?
I need some roses fast.
Are you sure she likes red roses?
Every woman likes roses.
Actually, 85% of women don't like red roses. Let's send her some beautiful orchids. The same price, and they'll last 3 times as long. Thanks for calling Pedal Pushers. This is Glenna. Can I help you?
I just wanted to thank the geniuses who saved my marriage.
Pedal Pushers, where smiles are only a bouquet away. Proud member of the Teleflora Network. Visit pedalpushersnky.com. P-E-T-A-L pushersnky.com. Everyone has an opinion. What's yours? Real Talk 1160.
Back to cruising with Jimmy B in the third wheel on Dipsticks and Deals. Real Talk 1160. Don't forget to become a fan of our Facebook page, and you can tune in anywhere in the free world every Sunday morning with the TuneIn Radio app, which is free, by the way, on your smartphone device, radio loyalty app. What are you guys doing?
He's over here trying to make his microphone work for him, and he's making all kinds of noise.
Okay, well, I'm trying to make money, so if you could just chill.
I understand that, Jimmy B. You do it.
If you'd like, you can live stream the show at Real Talk 1160 or dipsticksanddeals.com. Remember to do business with our sponsors, because without them, there is no Dipsticks and Deals. And they truly are the best at what they do. And we talked about Mel's and STI and Fear and Robkey Automotive and the rest. I mean, it's just patronize your local businesses. We've got a tech tip of the week. This comes to us from Eric Peters. He works at Cars with Distinction in Hilton Head, South Carolina. Eric's going to get a free D&D T-shirt as well for this tip. He says, don't wait to have your brakes inspected. If you hear any noise, have it checked by a professional technician. The noise is likely the brake rotors being scored by the warning tab or by a worn pad. Wait too long, and you may end up having to replace the brake rotors, not just the pads. That's a good tip. If you hear anything abnormal, don't wait too long, because it can cost you more money. Anytime you hear noise in the brakes, think dollar signs, because that's really and truly what's happening.
Is it possible not to hear a whole lot of noise and then your brakes need to be changed?
I don't know. Kenny, have you had any experience with brake failure without any noise?
No, because I got my music playing so loud I don't hear anything going on around me.
Very unlikely unless it's a brake line failure, but as it has to do with just the mechanical portion of the brakes, the calipers and or the drums, you're likely going to get some kind of noise that's going to indicate, hey, something's not right. And what Eric's saying is get it checked out. Don't wait, because think dollar signs. It's going to add up if you don't get that taken care of. We want to remind everybody, too, about our gas, cash, or crash contest this week. $25 in gas, $25 in cash, or you can crash our show and be on the radio live. Our Facebook question, go to our page and answer this question. What year and by what manufacturer was OBD, which is onboard diagnostics, introduced in a production vehicle? I was shocked to find out the answer to that myself, to be honest with you. I thought OBD was fairly recent, but as you Google this, like I know everybody does when they answer these so quickly.
1991.
You can't play.
Oh, we're playing a game now?
You're an employee. You're not eligible to win anything.
I got the job. I knew I'd get you, Jimmy B.
What else we got going on in the close here?
Well, I just want to mention that they can the listeners can go to dipsticksanddeals.com, and you had placed a tab for them to click on where they could check out Ohio car clubs, Indiana car clubs, Kentucky car clubs, shows, classic shows, and raceways.
Actually, I didn't create a tab, but what they can do on our homepage is scroll to the bottom. You'll see cruise ins, and car show links, and I've got them all listed right there on the front page, so it's real easy to find.
And then the raceways.
I didn't put the raceways. I do want to create a tab for the raceways. Yep. So the cruise and car shows will be on our homepage, and then you can get race information about the local racetracks.
Yeah, I don't think people really realize how many tracks there are in this area, or just within, say, an hour or two.
This is a racing area. I mean, it is truly a racing town.
I mean, just to give you an idea, if you were just, within 2 hours, you got 5 or 6 asphalt ovals. You got dirt ovals, which there are a ton of. Mm-hmm. And you have drag strips, which there are a ton of.
Right.
Sure is.
Even road courses. There's, within 2 hours, you have a couple of road courses.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
And there's a lot of intramural events, either semi-pro or amateur drift events, and those happen anywhere there's a large enough area. And there's always that kind of stuff going on. Have you ever drifted, Kenny? Is that something big down in Casey?
Oh, yeah, I've drifted from state to state. Is that what you mean, Jimmy?
No, that's not what I meant. It's a style of racing called drifting.
Oh, I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
You don't drift the 10-speed?
I drift. I told you I drift, Jimmy. I drift from state to state in backs of vans and cuffs and all kinds of things. Now, as far as this racing drifting, I just don't understand that. You're going to have to explain that to me.
Well, we'll get into that. We've talked about it before on previous shows. It's fairly new. I mean, it's been around for a little while now, but it's something that I showed much disrespect to when it first came out because I thought it was ridiculous until I started watching it and watching the performance of the vehicles that they're using, and more so the ability of these drivers to be able to do what they do. go to Google or YouTube and just type in drift racing, and you'll be amazed. It's incredible what they can do. My son does some of that stuff, too, in his car, which is, I tell him it's ridiculous because it's expensive when you break something, but it is pretty neat. And like I said before, this is a big racing town. There's a lot of race fans, a lot of hot, cool cars around here, and we just want to bring that information to you and make it easy, a one-stop shop.
And speaking of that real quick, the clubs, some of the car clubs that we were talking about, that they can join if they get on that link on our website, like the National Corvette Restorers Society. And these are the ones that are actually very, very local in Cincinnati and up to Dayton. The Early Ford V8 Club of America, the Corvair Society of America. Now, I know younger folks aren't going to really know what that means.
Yeah, amen.
Eastgate Corvette Club. Old Ford Trucks Club. So there's a lot of clubs, and actually what's going on right now is you're having the, let me find it here, the National Corvette. I'm clicking the wrong button here.
Is it down in Bowling Green?
Yeah, it's a 2012 National Corvette Homecoming. Will be held July 19th through the 21st in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Down there where they build the Corvette.
Is that it?
Yeah, down in Bowling Green. And I saw an interesting story. There was a guy at the museum a week or so ago. Actually, let me backtrack because he wasn't at that museum. This doesn't have anything to do with Chevrolet or Corvette. It has to do with Ford. He was at the Henry Ford Museum, and he trailered in his Model A Roadster and left it on the trailer, went inside the museum, came out, and the whole rig was gone. The truck was gone, the trailer, and that $1 million car.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was nowhere near that.
Do you have a guilty conscience? Do you belong to any? They did recover that car, by the way, and it didn't have a scratch on it. They said this is how smart the criminal was when he stole it. He was after the truck because they found the Roadster. It's a $1 million car on the back of the trailer off the side of the road, and the truck's still gone.
Wow.
Yeah, can you imagine that? Of course,
that should have been Dipstick of the week.
Well, it'd be tough to sell that car probably because everybody would see that thing and know what was happening. Do you belong to a car club, Ken?
Well, I'm trying to. I'd like to get a Vega National Club, but there's only a couple members. Me. And hopefully somebody else out there listening might want to join. We'll see what happens.
You don't have a Vega anymore.
No, but I love them, and they're an American icon. And the streets of America are now dull because they ain't running around no more. I'm telling you, I don't know why y'all so mean and angry at the Vega. That's a classic American car.
Did you ever have a Vega there, old man?
No, never had a Vega. I think it was a pride issue.
Well, when it gets like that, you just paint that thing in primer.
It had to be hot and loud and fast.
Spray paint your wheels,
Yeah.
Put coffee cans on the exhaust. Come on
I did have
now.
a 49 Mercury one time lowered to the ground with red rims. Now, that's going way back.
That sounds cool.
That is. Yeah. That's cool. That's rat roddy.
Yeah, we didn't have fiberglass back then. We had lead. We used to lead holes in to customize them.
Did you have flamethrowers on that thing?
No, I didn't have it was in primer with red rims.
Primer. See, there's that word again. I love it.
Had a 51 Ford grill in it, which was the two bullets. Took the Mercury grill out and put the 97 holes we filled with lead. I'll never forget it.
Wow.
Now, when you were racing and doing all these things, you ever listen to the Beach Boys on the radio?
Actually, the Beach Boys were after me.
Ooh.
Now, that's how old I am.
You are old.
But, yeah, we had our favorites. But the biggest thing we used to do, you talk about those car clubs. I know we're getting close to the end here, but we used to have the plaques hanging off the backs.
Mm-hmm. Car club.
And I was a member of the Rapid Tappets.
Oh, that's slick.
The what?
Rapid Tappets.
Rapid Tappets.
Tappets are the lifters.
Named our car club out there.
I don't know anything.
Yeah, back in the old days, they called them Tappets, but they're lifters. Listen, we got to get to our song of the week.
The 1963.
63, it is.
Little Deuce Coupe by the Beach Boys.
That's right. This reached number 4 on the charts during the day, and it also went platinum. Little Deuce Coupe. We'll see you next Sunday. Thanks for joining us on Dipsticks and Deals. For Jimmy B and the Third Wheel, Real Talk 1160. See you next week.
My little Deuce Coupe.